Hey, what's going on? This is Political Brown Kid here, and I just want to bring up an old topic that it doesn't really get talked about too much. It pops up every now and then, but this topic on ghosting. You hear a lot of women talking about how they've been ghosted by men and, this whole ghosting phenomenon. But women are the biggest culprits of ghosting people. So I know the true definition of ghosting is this. It's when you, and first of all, I hate the term. I think the term is stupid, but people love to create terminology and terms, but I'm going to go with it. But the true definition or the definition that you see floating around is when someone abruptly ends a conversation with someone and doesn't provide an explanation for, abruptly terminate the conversation. And that can be true for relationships, friendships, whatever. So it's kind of like not providing, like that, giving someone closure, when you're just ending, communications or relationship without closure. But if you really should expand the definition of ghosting to even just not communicating with people, period. Basically, you're treating people as invisible. You totally just ignore them altogether. And that's why I want to say that, when you look at it, women are just the biggest culprits. And even if you don't add that in there, they're still the biggest culprits. Specifically when you meet women online. When these, women, they get ghosted from men. Typically when a woman talks about she's been ghosted, it's right after she's already, selected some guy, went out on a date with some guy, and possibly even had an intimate encounter with some guy. And then she gets ghosted, right? That's when women get ghosted. Look at the countless men who get ghosted when they meet a woman, they say hello to her. This is why I'm expanding the terminology, because there's half these women online. They'll say, I'm ready to meet someone. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Just ask or say hello. I'm not going to make the first move, so you make the first move. And how many guys send a woman, reach out to a woman and say, hey, how you doing? Whatever your opening line is to a woman to get her attention, and she doesn't even respond to you. She just ignores you because she doesn't want to talk to you because you're not worthy to be talking to her. She doesn't even want to engage in the conversation to waste her time. So technically, that is ghosting. You're seeing him, or you're treating him as if he's a ghost, as if he's invisible. You don't even hear him. But even if you don't want to include those men in the conversation, look how many women talk to 4 and 5 and 20 different guys at a time online, because everyone knows that women get far more hits than men. That's a fact. That's a statistical fact. For every 300 swipes that one man makes, for every 300 likes that a man makes, he may get 1 or 2 connections, whereas women get 50 and 60 connections a day. So women, what they typically do is they start conversations with multiple guys, and then they winnow them out. They start saying, okay, I'm going to talk to 4 or 5 different guys because I'm going to juggle my quote unquote roster. And then all of a sudden they'll ghost the other 3 and then focus on the one. And then they'll focus on 1 or 2 or 3, and then they'll get their free dinners. They may have some, free intimate encounter, because, if they're feeling the guy. And then that's when they get ghosted and start complaining after they gave up their body, or after they gave up their time on this date. But they don't talk about the other men that got ghosted. The only thing women care about is them. They only see them and their feelings. They don't care anything about men getting ghosted. They don't care about men, deleting themselves. They don't care about any of these other statistics that are going on out here. Every time you hear a woman complain, it's me, me, me. And we've been set up as a society to not talk about men's issues, because once you do that, then you're because think about it, sexism is the new racism. Now they have no problems treating black men as if black men are demonic, but you can't say anything about a black woman because now they're protected by the protected class of being a woman. So men, regardless of what your ethnicity is, they treat you and vilify you as if you're just some kind of groomer, some kind of just oppressor and so nowadays you can look at racism and say, okay, well, we're going to scale back affirmative action because racism doesn't exist. We're going to scale back this is not racist incidents. So you have this big push for racism deniers, but when it comes to sexism, even if you're just accused by a woman of committing an act against her, you're going to get fired. You're going to get put on, whether it's administrative leave, you're going to lose endorsements. You're going to go through the whole gamut of loss because sexism is the new racism. And this whole ghosting thing, it's the similar thing. When women ghost men, when women treat men wrong, that doesn't make the news. That doesn't make headlines. It doesn't make talk shows. But when women are hurt and when women are at the disadvantage, it always makes the news. So, women, why don't you stop ghosting people? Why don't you do better? Political brown kid, out of here.